This is Brother Jamal bringing you another YouTube broadcast on my YouTube channel. And we want to bring this video to you just to, once again, this is advice and talk. That's what this is in regards to. Like I said, you can check us out on YouTube. Once you catch this, whoever and wherever you may be, ask you to share it, and also hit the subscribe button. So when we put a video down on YouTube on my channel, you'll be able to check it out and give us some feedback, make some comments. You know, whatever you'd like to do, we welcome that. We did a short video last evening on the youth and the importance of the history and sharing that with the youth, young people of things that have happened in the past. And so that's extremely important. On this segment, we want to deal with just kind of briefly with the holidays. And once again, this is why it's important to share the history aspect with our young people. Tell them about the past, make references back to the things that have happened, because so many young people have questions and are beginning to ask questions, beginning to raise questions about things that's happening today. And you can't disconnect yourself from the past and from history, because everything that's happening in today's time, it has a beginning, and the beginning is history. So you have to refer back to that. If you don't know, then read, study, get books, get information, try to share that with the youth. If you do know, you have a duty upon you to share the truth, tell the truth, not some fantasy or some make-up story, but tell the real raw truth about today's time and how this relates back to the past. You can't escape history, because one way or the other, history has a way of either catching up with you or it's going to set things straight. So this is why we wanted to bring you the holidays. For example, people just got through celebrating, I guess, Thanksgiving. Now, as African Americans, we are so caught up psychologically, we are so caught up in these holidays. We really are. When you look at the black community, the African American community, we are caught up to the point that we are the ones who become the largest consumers during the holiday time in shopping and spending. We are the ones. And they count on us doing that. Every year they count on us. So when you think about Thanksgiving, we need to explain to our young people, to the youth, once again, this starts off with today's time. It has a beginning, it has a connection that takes us back to history. This is why history and what it has happened in the past is important. Why people take the position about Thanksgiving the way they do. For example, you have to go to the history to see why people take the position about Thanksgiving like they do. During the years, the time when all of this, what is called the United States, at one time this was nothing but wilderness. It wasn't anything here but wilderness. And the indigenous people who were living here, the Indians, some people call them, the natives, some people call them, but these were the people who were living, fishing, and surviving off the land, the indigenous people, when this was nothing. It was no United States, nothing. They were living here. And when the first settlers came, this was like the 1500s. When the first settlers came into Plymouth Rock up around Massachusetts, up around the East Coast. When the first settlers came in the wintertime, the indigenous people helped them survive that bitter, cold, hard winter because they had already been living, fishing, hunting, surviving off of the land. The indigenous people, they helped the settlers, the first ones that came in. This is history, and this is why young people, the youth, need to know about how Thanksgiving came about. It just didn't fall out of the sky. It just didn't come about. There was something that happened. There was something that occurred, and they called it Thanksgiving. After the indigenous people helped and extended their hospitality to the settlers because they didn't know how to survive such a cold, brutal winter. And the indigenous people had been living and surviving, fishing, hunting all that time. They'd been doing that. So they knew. So they shared their hospitality with the settlers. After a period of time, the settlers gave them blanket with chicken pox and turned on them, massacred them. The governor of Massachusetts that particular time, that's when they declared it to be Thanksgiving, after they massacred the indigenous people. Young people need to know the history. Once again, we're talking about history. We're talking about today's time and relating that back to the past. Why it's called Thanksgiving. After they massacred the indigenous people, then the governor of Massachusetts, he declared it Thanksgiving after they massacred the indigenous people. You know? So this is where Thanksgiving came from. And the holidays and how we get so consumed and caught up with this stuff. This is what we do in the black community. This whole idea of Black Friday, I said to someone today back in 1970, 1975, all the way up to maybe the early mid 80s, there was no Black Friday. They had holiday sales. They went back and got Black Friday and attached that on, gave it a title that related back to the time when they sold black people on the auction block. This is where it came from. One of the slave owners decided to call it Black Friday, and they related that to the time when they sold the slaves on the auction block, y'all. So I'm saying we are so caught into the holidays psychologically. This is how it's done messed us up. It's done messed our minds up. And we become some of the biggest consumers, the big spenders on the holidays. We become that. So once again, we need to share this message with our youth about the holidays and how important this is to history. See, this is the beginning of history, and it relates to today's time. Once again, we want to bring you this short talk and advice. The holidays and the psychological effect that it has on black people and the black community. And the fact that we need to tell our youth the truth about these holidays, not some fantasy, not some fake story, not some unbelievable story, not some miracle story. No, we need to tell the raw truth to our youth about exactly the origins, I should say, the origins of the holidays. We need to share this with our youth. And some of us need to learn it too, because some of us as adults, we don't know the origins of the holidays, the history of the holidays. Once again, check out my YouTube channel under Brother Jamal Muhammad, just Jamal Muhammad. Subscribe, catch us when we get ready to drop a video.